Last week, the S&P 500 declined 0.4%, the Nasdaq fell 0.6%, and the Dow Jones dropped 1.3%. U.S. stock prices finished in the red after geopolitical tensions sharply increased in the Middle East at the end of the week as Israel launched missile attacks on Iran. The week began positively after a partial trade deal between the U.S. and China was agreed. Slightly lower than expected, U.S. inflation data also encouraged positive sentiment, with traders continuing to price in 2 Fed interest rate cuts this year. Crude oil prices jumped as conflict in the Middle East triggered supply concerns, but natural gas prices fell. Safe haven gold and silver prices surged. Platinum prices climbed on easing U.S.-China trade tensions, but palladium prices declined. The highlight of the economic week will be Wednesday's Fed interest rate decision. No change in the interest rate of 4.5% is expected, but markets will be watching Fed Chair Powell's comments following on potential future Fed moves. On Monday, President Trump left the G7 summit of top global leaders early, amid speculation that the U.S. may soon join Israel to strike Iran. The G7 called for a ceasefire but stated that Iran must not have nuclear weapons. Lockheed's stock price climbed 1%, hitting a 3-month peak. The defense contractor hit a more than 1-month low mid-week on reports that the U.S. Defense Department might cut orders for Lockheed's military F-35 aircraft. However, conflict between Israel, a Lockheed customer, and Iran stoked speculation that Israel may decide to order more Lockheed products, which include helicopters, aircraft, and missiles. Ongoing geopolitical conflict, including in Ukraine, suggests demand will continue, and the company reported strong Q1 earnings in April. Starbucks stock price increased 3.7% to record a 2-month high. The global coffeehouse chain recently outlined its Back to Starbucks turnaround strategy to cut costs and to increase productivity. The company stated its new staffing model saw increased sales and would be implemented nationally by summer's end. CEO Brian Niccol unveiled a new food menu at a Starbucks leadership experience meeting in Las Vegas last week, stating that a new drink, protein cold foam, may be one of the most important innovations. Crude oil prices surged 13.2% to test an almost 5-month high and record its best weekly performance in 2025. Israeli air and drone strikes on Iran, a major oil producer, was the main catalyst for the move higher as fears of disruption in Middle East supplies grew. JP Morgan stated that oil prices could rise to $120 if tensions continue to escalate, with Iran previously having made a threat to close the Strait of Hormuz, a vital shipping lane where global oil is transported. Oil prices were also boosted by trade optimism following an agreement between the U.S. and China early in the week. Gold prices jumped 3.46%, reaching an almost 2-month peak in a volatile week. While prices were under pressure early in the week, lower than expected U.S. inflation data and rising global tensions saw gold skyrocket. Safe haven demand on Friday was strong as traders were somewhat surprised after Israel attacked Iran and outlined that this would be an ongoing attack to destroy Iran's nuclear facilities. While the U.S. has stated it is not involved in the attack, Iran has reportedly attacked U.S. targets in the Middle East region, emphasizing the risks of continued escalation. Silver prices soared to their highest level in over 13 years and finished up 0.8% last week. The week saw renewed safe haven flows as geopolitical tensions escalated, following Israeli strikes on Iran and lack of progress on U.S.-Russia ceasefire talks. Fresh data showed that China's solar capacity rose in Q1, while Europe's solar output surged 30% year-on-year. Silver is an important component in solar panels. Cooling trade tensions also increased expectations that both the U.S. and Chinese economies may not see weaker industrial demand for products which contain silver. The EUR-USD pair jumped 1.26%, rising to a 3-year peak, reflecting both euro strength and dollar weakness. The dollar fell against its rivals amid concerns over the U.S. fiscal outlook and the proposed debt ceiling via a new tax cut bill. Softer U.S. inflation data also pressured the greenback, The euro was stronger following hints from the ECB of a pause in its rate-cutting cycle and some more positive recent data out of the eurozone.